All right. Woo. Look. I got that wow. Who wants some hands up right now? We got that. Turn it up loud. I know you're wondering how. I got that wow. Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop. I'm a tour de force running. Get me to the top. I don't need an invitation. I'm about to start a celebration.
Oh, there we go.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you guys?
Hello.
Doing
Good.
great.
How are you?
Good. Got my pink on, getting a little holiday, Valentine's love going.
You look
Wearing
cute
my
in pink.
sparkly necklace.
I recognize that.
Yes.
I have one on too that's interesting. Can't see the bottom. It is like a.
Oh, I have that one.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, ladies.
Love it.
Yes. Well, this is so fitting because tonight on Three Cocktails In, addicting conversations between friends who have been there, done that, and still want more, we are going to talk to Kitty about this leap of faith she took a couple years ago and started what was a side hustle that is kind of trying to bump into center stage, I think.
It may be trying to bump into center stage. Yes, I love the analogy.
Yes. So different than the conversation we had with Sarah a few episodes back, who Sarah left corporate America and jumped into private entrepreneurship with a yoga studio that she'd always wanted to have. So Kitty, you haven't quite done that.
No.
I need to know. Well, I was kind of there. We were all kind of there. But you never really talked to us about how this happened.
That's right. And you know what? I remember we were at a Twins game when I told you that I was doing this.
Okay.
Maybe you don't remember that, but so I launched this in October of 21. And so we were at a Twins game and it was probably sometime in September.
Okay.
But I'll back up, and the concept, the business, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but the business was brought to my attention. I want to say it was around, well, when did you have your garage sale?
The one you forced me into having?
Yes, correct.
That I did not enjoy having?
But was necessary because you were getting ready to sell your house. So when was that? Was that in July?
No, because I moved. I think it was May of 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this actually goes back to being there at that garage sale. My sister called me. And I remember because I walked around the side of your house and I was standing out in your backyard and I'm talking to my sister and she said, "Have you heard of this paparazzi jewelry?" And I hadn't. I said, "No." She says, "I'm going to send you a video. You have to watch this. It's $5 jewelry." And immediately I had this, what? My reaction was like, what? How can that be even a thing? So she said, "Trust me, I'm going to send you this video. It's on Facebook. Check it out." So then got off the phone and I don't know, it was probably a week or two before I finally watched it. And so then within the next few months, I started shopping it. And then I decided I want to do this. And then I launched it in October of 21. So I got to tell you, this came from nowhere. On this topic of, so I think just the concept of side hustles, the concept itself is fascinating. Side hustles have always been around.
Oh, yeah.
Right. People have always at various times in their life, it's not uncommon for people to want an extra stream of income. But I think it wasn't really until recently that this term side hustle has become more prevalent and popular. Yeah. And then I think with, in the 20th and 21st century, we really saw the rise of what's called the gig economy. We started hearing that phrase, people having these side gigs, now they're side hustles. We've had so much change in technology. We've had so much change in just the nature of work itself.
Mhm.
So all of these things have just increased the visibility and the prevalence of side hustles. But like I said, it came from nowhere. I never had, I didn't have this thing in me that said, you know what, I really should start something on the side. Mm-mm. I started this side hustle simply because I fell in love with this concept that had been put in front of me. Not
Mhm. Well, I think that what I see from on the whole subject of side hustle is a lot of women. Maybe that's just because of the social media that I'm on. A lot of women,
yeah.
and a lot of it is stuff that they're passionate about, that they love, that
Yes.
it fulfills part of their life that
Hmm.
doesn't get fulfilled with a corporate job or
Hmm.
taking care of the kids at home or all these various things that we have to do
Yeah.
to make things work. And I think side
Hmm.
hustles are a great way of justifying a love. Maybe it
Hmm.
starts that way. People tend to do side hustles of stuff they love.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
We hear people say a lot, whenever you see the little inspirational things pop up on whatever social media platform you're on, the ones that say, do more of what you love and do less of what you don't love. That's the world that we're living in right now. People are finding ways to do more of what they love. And I think that's why I gave myself permission to do this.
sure.
I have a good job. There wasn't, I wasn't looking for additional income. That wasn't my motivation at all. I saw this and I looked at it and I thought, okay, there's something. Okay, so, well, let me explain what it is, because this is part of what made me fall in love with it. So the brand is Paparazzi. It is fashion jewelry. It's been around for 12 years. And it is $5 jewelry. So everything that you see that I'm wearing, each piece that I am wearing is $5. And so the whole concept, the business, I'm an independent consultant. And so I named my business Good Glam. And what I talk about with my customers and what I share is that you can look like $1,000,000. You can put yourself together with great fashion jewelry without breaking the bank. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars buying fashion jewelry. And so I was introduced to it via Facebook. So my sister sends me this video. I pop it up. Here's now my friend Shannon. I didn't know this woman before, but now she's become a very good friend. So here she is in the middle of Nebraska on Facebook live, and she's showing jewelry and she's holding it up to the camera and she's talking about it. And she's got people watching and commenting, and they're buying. Now, we've all seen that, of course,
Right.
but it was fairly new. It was fairly new to me. One, I didn't know anybody doing it. I mean, I would come across the videos on Facebook, but I hadn't really bought anything through that method. And I became obsessed. I literally became obsessed. I would work my schedule around, when is Shannon going to be live? When is she live? A Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. I'm going to make sure, and then I would watch and I'd buy a couple of pieces. So I started buying it to make sure the quality was good, and I got it and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is only $5 and this is great jewelry." So, what did I fall in love with? I fell in love with the interaction through Facebook, so that social selling approach.
Hmm.
Fell in love with the product, and as I sat there and looked at it, I kept hearing this voice in my head saying, "You could do that. You Kitty, you could totally do that." And after several weeks of that little narrative going through my brain, I thought, all right, I think I'm going to do this. It was not anything more than just that, and just this confidence that came from me that just said, okay, I think I would be good at that. I want to give this a try.
Yeah.
Sure. So, with that in mind, then how did you really
Mhm.
start, what are the steps to start it and how you've
Yeah.
built it over
So I
the
talked to
past
that person.
2 years, 2.5
Yeah,
years?
I reached out to Shannon, talked to her about it, and she also had a full-time job, so she was doing it as a side. And I asked tons of questions, asked every question that I could imagine, and then to jump in, like a lot of these companies, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. We'll say these companies, there's a startup kit that you buy. So I bought my startup kit, and then I put together a couple little videos to put out on Facebook to let people know what I was going to be doing. I set a date for the launch, so I invited people to my Facebook event, and have not looked back ever since. And the one thing that I know has helped me to build this business is that I have remained consistent with it. I have never stopped. I've never stopped. I am live 3 times a week. And when I have a bad day, when I have a bad week and I don't feel like going live, I still go live. Um, and so, it was just really being active. And I developed a business page. So I've got that persona now on Facebook. And then just interacting with people.
Yeah. You do a really nice job, and you've kind of brought the family into it.
I have.
But I think that that's what makes it enjoyable for people, because some of your lives are maybe right around an hour, but people stay, and they
Mm-hmm.
stay because they're enjoying the experience.
Yes.
They feel like you're friends.
Yes.
Which there's a lot of people. I mean, we've all been on Facebook forever. And like you said, we've seen a lot of these different things. And some of them are so freaking disorganized, and people don't know what they're doing on camera. And half the time, you've done a really, really nice job of making it an enjoyable experience. And I pop in because, I've got this weird schedule. So I pop in and catch it sometimes on Saturdays while I'm getting ready to go to work, and drop little comments and, hi, nice to meet you, whatever. Kitty, would that look good with this outfit that I have, which is always fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen behind the scenes, and I'm always so impressed now how there's a lot going on that you can't see. Like, for instance, Kitty's scanning the tags where you can't see that in the camera, and she's picking up other things, and she's putting stuff on her, form, and at the same time she's talking with the people on, not just talking, but asking questions. She's reading all the comments and talking about what they're saying. She asks questions and they might answer. They ask her questions and she'll answer. So there's a lot more going on than I think most people realize just from watching the show. It's a lot. It's a hustle, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You're hustling.
And I think back to the first months of it where I didn't have very, very many people tuning in. And you do feel like you're just sitting there talking to yourself, because I do it into my phone that I have on a tripod in front of me. So I'm staring at myself. And again, in those early days when maybe only 5 people would pop on, I'd have to sit there and kind of have a conversation with myself. So it felt really good to get to the point where that number went from 5 to 10 to 15. I'm right now hovering anywhere between 40 and we get to mid 50s. So, I've got a long way to go. There are a lot of consultants out there that have hundreds of people on when they go and do their lives. So, I have my goals. I know where I'm planning to go, and it will continue to take a while, but it's been, I feel so good about what I've been able to achieve with this.
You should do good. So talk about, if you could, the process of going from 5 to
Mm-hmm.
10 to 25 to
Mhm.
50?
Yeah.
Clearly at some point, as Stacy just alluded to everything that happens behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I know we got the bling boss. We
Mm-hmm.
got, I don't think bling baby went
Bling
over well. I
bling
don't know that
baby.
that's exactly the right term for the 21-year-old son who
That's what
occasionally helps out.
that's what I continue to call him. So, and he
Yeah.
seems accepting of it. Yes, Bling Boss
Oh,
is my husband Bill. So he's on every show with me, and when I say on, he's upstairs. So he's
mhm.
monitoring comments so that I can just interact with people. So as I'm showing things, I give pieces numbers, and then people claim. So if I've got 25 of this bracelet, I'm giving it a number, and then people will comment for that bracelet. So Bill is getting all of that down. That I didn't do that in the beginning. I was able to manage that myself, but now we've gotten to a point where, gee, it would be really nice once I'm done with the show that, so he texts me all of the claims and then I can go right into fulfillment. So that's something that just evolved
Mhm.
out of necessity. And I expect that as it takes its next growth, as we move to the next level, we will need to put different processes in place as well to handle that.
Mhm.
So,
So, um, a long time ago, before social media was a thing, I sold Tastefully Simple,
mhm,
which is a side hustle for a
yep,
lot of women.
mhm,
Um, I had to go into people's homes and I had to order all the product ahead of time and
mhm,
sat with tons and tons of inventory and go to a show where they tell me there's going to be 14 people there and 4 show up. I
yeah,
cannot tell you how
Mhm.
much better this seems.
mhm,
Um, but part of that push, as I'm sure that you've been, thinking about, is not only are you um, a built-in revenue stream by selling,
mhm,
you've got that other part where some companies are very, very aggressive
mhm,
with the idea of team building as a
yes,
secondary um, revenue stream. And
yeah,
I've only heard you talk about it just a little bit.
mhm,
So I think sometimes these side hustles, companies like this,
mhm,
get a bad rap. I
yeah,
mean, there's a you'd be real if you really thought about it. You'd be really hard pressed to find any sort of business that does not have some sort of additional revenue stream that's not related to their sales.
mhm,
Let's put it that way.
yeah, yes,
So what are your feelings on that? And what's your goal there?
mhm,
How are you dealing with that?
yeah. I'm glad that we can talk about this here because it is something that anytime I mention to somebody that I'm a paparazzi consultant, not anytime, but maybe one out of 5 times, someone will say, "Oh, is that like one of those pyramid schemes?" And
Mm.
my head almost explodes every time I get that from someone
And good
because
on you for
one,
not like throat punching.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It's just rude. It's just rude to say that to someone. No,
Right.
it's not. It's not a pyramid scheme. Is it a multi-level marketing company? Yes, and it's 100% legal, by the way. Right? So
Yes.
multi-level marketing companies have gotten a bad rap because there have been some in history that weren't.
Mhm.
And you know what? Those don't exist anymore. So
Right.
unfortunately, we still have to battle the bad rap that comes from that.
Mhm.
But um, I like I said, it will come up maybe once in every 5 conversations that somebody will mention it, but then people move on. And for me, especially in the first year, I didn't have any interest in building a team because I thought, you know what, I need to first build my own business before I can even pretend to be able to lead someone else in doing this. It's true that there's, the business structure, yeah, they want you to be bringing other people in, building your team as soon
Right.
as possible. And some do, and some don't, like I didn't. I am building a team now. I have 10 people on my team now. They're not all active sellers. They just wanted to be on the team and they want to buy the product at wholesale price. Great. That's fine. There's room for all sorts of different people in this structure. So I would love, here's the thing. If I didn't have a full-time job, I would be more active building a team and I would scale this thing much faster. But the reality is I do have a full-time job that I love very much. And this, going back to one of your guys' questions at the beginning, this does fulfill something for me that my full-time job doesn't.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, and that's the other thing. Would it be as enjoyable to you if you are leading this massive team and you're spending a good share of your time now administratively versus the creative interaction portion that it seems that you really thrive on, that you really like the...
Yeah. You've asked me that before, so I've contemplated it because we've had lots of conversation about what does retirement look like. The three of us have talked about that. It's going to look different for everybody. And I think one of the things that this fulfills for me is that I am my own boss. I've always worked for someone else in my entire career. This is the only time that I have been my own boss in this business, in having this business.
Sure.
So it fulfills that. It also fulfills, over my entire corporate career, I have always had to present. I've always been in a business development role. So I've become very comfortable doing things like this. It's also one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast with you guys, because what we're doing right now, if I could have my dream job, it'd be this right here. Mel Robbins, I'm coming for you. So, I love this. I love this interaction. I love just being able to have conversations, thought-provoking things. And I do want to circle back to one of the things that was probably the most unexpected benefit from doing this side hustle. And that is the relationships that have been nurtured with these customers who I affectionately call the glam dolls. And I do have some guys who shop with me too, and they're the glam dudes. But the messages that I get from people I had no idea what $5 jewelry would mean to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have that personal fulfillment. Stacy, you talked about, the work that you guys do at Poet. You are doing something that's great for our planet.
Yeah. Changing the world, supposedly.
Changing the world.
And I love it. Supposedly, you say?
Yeah.
And I love my job at Heroic. We do amazing work for our clients, but there's this personal fulfillment that I get from Good Glam when I get a message from someone who says, you know what, I just lost 100 pounds and you have no idea how good I feel when I put this jewelry on and I walk outside my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Here was another message I got from a woman. She was going to conquer her fear of heights. And she had on her calendar, she was going to take a helicopter flight. And she said, I am going to put my jewelry on, and that is going to bring me comfort when I go on this helicopter ride.
Wow.
And I get these messages from people all the time. I just lost my husband this year. I can't tell you how much I enjoy 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday and Thursday night because I get to spend it with you.
Yeah. Community. It comes back to the idea of community.
It is
without having to leave your home.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is you've got people that buy all over the US.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they become friends because I see them talking to each other about,
Yeah.
oh, I think you already bought that. Or that would look really good with that necklace you got last week. And I'm like, these people are just hanging out together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's social time. And there are some people who come and they don't buy anything, and that's okay. Or they might buy one thing a month. That's fine. They're still welcome to be there, and they're welcome in the
absolutely.
conversation, and they know it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you know, and I don't know that we really were going to discuss this part of it, but you teach people. So even if they don't buy your jewelry, and of
Mhm.
course, you know, you'd like them to, they're learning how to style themselves and
Yes.
how to take what you see in a photo or on your camera that somebody else
Mhm.
is wearing. How do you put it together? The whole idea of a neck mess, the whole
Mhm.
idea of all the different bracelets,
The
you
arm
know.
party.
Yeah, an arm party. So
Yeah.
it's not just about, matter of fact, I'd almost go as far to say as the buying is secondary to what
Mhm.
people get out of this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
I
And
hope
you,
that is
and
the case.
Feel free to use that. Do you want me to write that down as a
Yeah, I
testimonial
think
for
so.
you?
Yes.
We really should. Yes. And, you know, a lot of it is, you know, that you're so good at it. I mean, and you've improved over time too. And, but they are, I see the comments all the time where they say, you know, how great you look and, you know, talking to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
definitely you. Over time, like at the beginning, the first few things or the first few shows, you know, the things I bought, don't go with anything. Well, now
Mhm.
if you watch Kitty, she'll show, you know, like 3 necklaces and 2 bracelets and earrings that all go together. And that's what has, you know, I'm guessing that's
Mhm.
grown your business, because then
Mhm.
instead of just one single piece, then you're selling sets of things. And that's how I think a lot of people like to buy. They want to have everything that's going to
Yeah.
go together, you
Yep.
know, at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
I
like
get a
having
lot
a
of that
personal
feedback.
shopper.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And yes,
And
you're right. I've gotten a lot of comments from people saying that I never would have thought to layer things the way that you do.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
things that sometimes it aren't we all amazed at times when there are things that are just natural to us, when you share them with someone they're like, I never thought of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And again, you layer all the pieces, you get the earrings, the couple necklaces, a bracelet, and a ring, and you've spent $25, people.
yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Exactly.
yeah.
So
Okay.
you can spend your money on other things. Right.
Yes.
And of course, there will be times when you want to invest in a special piece. You know, Bill has given me beautiful, you know, wonderful Tiffany jewelry that I cherish, and I wear that.
Mm-hmm.
And this jewelry serves its own purpose. I love having cute little things like this for Valentine's Day. You don't have to feel bad going out and buying something like this when it's only $5 and you're just going to wear it for, you know, Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day or whatever it might be. So it's meant to be fun. And people, it's good to feel good about a purchase that you've made.
Okay. I got 2 questions.
Okay.
So we're talking about how other people feel good about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think doing this has affected your daily life, or what have you brought from this side hustle into your primary hustle?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the one thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
you should talk about that, and we'll get
Mhm.
to that second question after that.
Okay. Well, definitely. I mean, I feel like every time I go live, which again is 3 times a week, I am practicing my performance. It is a performance. And I do that also in my full time job. So I'm on Zoom multiple times a day during meetings, and I'm representing my company. So it's a constant practice, which we all have to do. We all have to Amy, every time you talk to a prospective buyer of a home, you get better each time you have that
Yeah.
conversation. Stacy, you with your conversations with your coworkers, with the farmers, as you develop those relationships. So I do feel like over time, and just again, because I'm doing it 3 times a week, no fail, the only there are very few things that disrupt this schedule. I will be disrupting the schedule for the wedding.
Madeline,
No.
Madeline, you should feel honored. Although we might
Um,
have to do some bling shots,
Yeah.
all dressed up.
oh,
Do a
for
little
sure.
advertising for you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, we will. But I think that, and you know what? I hope that Heroic, my coworkers, my boss, I hope that he sees that, and I hope that he sees. Um,
The
I believe
benefits.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that he does feel good about my abilities, my professionalism, my ability to tell the heroic story. And so, and he knows of my side hustle. He comes on
Sure.
to my show. He and his wife will come on, and they buy jewelry from me. So that makes me feel good as well.
Yeah.
He's supportive. But yeah, so it's just a constant polishing of this, um, of this ability, I guess, which is so important for all of us as we go through life,
Mhm.
to show up put together, professional.
Yeah.
If
So
someone was going to start their own side hustle, maybe not necessarily paparazzi or anything, do you have any advice you can give them based on your experience?
Well,
what do you tell the new people that want to sign
Yeah.
up with you?
Yeah.
the first thing that I will, and I may not say, why do you want to do this, but I will have a conversation with them to hopefully get them to articulate why they want to do this. Like, are you looking to supplement your income? Are you looking to build something up so that you can quit your full-time job? Are you just looking for an extra $50 a week? Are you wanting to do it to conquer a fear that you have? What is it? Because depending on what it is, then we can craft how you do it. Because it's not a one size fits all. It can look different for you. Don't have to do Facebook Live to
Mhm.
do this business. So, but let's say that it's not paparazzi. Let's just say that, somebody comes to me and they say, yeah, I really feel like I should have something on the side. Why? What is it? Just like we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, what are you trying to fill? Because that then will help you decide what it is. I'm
Mhm.
not going to lie. This is time consuming. It's not
Yes, it
easy.
is.
It is. And I carry my own inventory. So, that is like you were talking about with Tastefully Simple. I buy all of my own inventory and then I sell it. So there are just things like that you want to just ask all the questions. So discover your why, do your research, set your goals, and then find a buddy. Get an accountability partner who's also in the business that you can bounce questions off of and that you can, have as your cheerleader.
Sure.
I would
Yeah.
also, you alluded to it a little bit, but I do think it's important in situations like this that you get the family on board because it
Oh
will
yeah.
take up time.
Yes.
And by virtue of having this second job, you're pulling time away
Mm-hmm.
from
Yeah.
people in your household that may be used to having your full attention. So
Yes.
I'm sure that is something that needs to be considered.
It absolutely is. Yes. Um, I couldn't have done this 10 years ago. There's no way.
Yeah.
When Bo was 10 years younger, just would never have had the time to do it. I wouldn't have felt good about doing it because of the time allowed. And I was traveling a ton then. It just never would have worked. So that's a very good point because it affects the whole household.
Yeah.
Or it can.
I know I mentioned it when I talked about being a realtor and how I am just blown away by the single parents that are
Mhm.
realtors because that's time away. And yes, you're doing it for your family and the
Yeah.
side hustle still is funneling money or income or
Mhm.
something that benefits either you financially personally if you're a singleton
Mhm.
but that is time away. And the more people you have that are your supporters and your cheerleaders, the more successful you're
Yeah.
going to be.
Yes. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
am so grateful for Bill and Bo's support. Bill won Employee of the Year for 2023. His prize is an all expense paid trip somewhere in the United States. He hasn't told me
Houston.
where.
He's going to Houston.
Who's going to Houston?
That's right, but I think he's got his sights set on maybe Florida or I don't know,
Oh,
longer than a long weekend. I'll put
Sure.
it that way.
okay.
Houston
And,
will
and
be
probably
nice.
not being one of the men tasked with keeping the
Mhm.
broad squad in check
In check, yeah.
and
Maybe.
having to.
Yeah.
I don't know why that would be an issue. Can't
I
imagine.
can't imagine. No.
Okay, so we've kind of talked about all this, and it's been so much fun to watch you build this and to
Oh,
see
thank
such
you.
joy that you get from it.
Hmm. Thank
You
you.
need to share with everybody, how do they find you and paparazzi?
Okay. And Stacy and Amy, thank you for letting me talk about this on the podcast. It was actually your guys' idea, so thank
Mhm.
you. And for being glam dolls. You guys shop with me.
Yeah, we did.
And have shared and all of that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
do
you both.
say that I occasionally call Kitty and say, okay, this is the outfit I'm wearing. What do you have? Or if I come over, I'm like, can we go down to your room? I need to look at stuff in person. And then it's just
Yes.
like, it's jewelry heaven. So
Yes, I know. I love having people come and visit the Good Glam studio. All right, here's how you can find me. I am primarily on Facebook. This is going to be one of the next levels up because I do need to kind of redo all of my technology so that I can stream to more than one platform. So that is to come. But you can find me on Facebook. My business page is Kitty's Good Glam Paparazzi. So like and follow that page. And it's Good Glam on Instagram. Let's see, my Gmail, goodglamgreatstyle@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me there. I have a couple of websites also, so I'll drop those links when we drop this episode. And of course, if come onto a live, anybody that joins me if you've heard about this from the podcast, I'll have something special for you. I'll give you some free shipping.
There you go.
Does
That's a good idea.
Does that work for Stacy and I?
I know.
Yes, you guys get the friends and family discount.
Oh, yay.
Always. Yeah. So
Oh,
thank
fun.
you. Thank
Very
you for
fun.
your support. I hope that this is interesting for people. Again, hopefully it's motivating. If anybody has been thinking about doing something on the side, we're always wanting people to be encouraged to chase those dreams. And I'll just close with this. So my word for 2024 is reach. Okay.
Ooh.
The goals that I have for my paparazzi business, I am trying to hit diamond this year before we go to convention, which is the end of July. I am going to comfortably hit platinum. It will be a significant reach to hit diamond.
Okay.
So that's what I have my sights set on. And I encourage everyone to reach for your dreams. There is no better time than right now to take steps toward what you want to do.
Right. And nobody's doing it for you.
Nobody's going to come and do it for you.
Nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
All right. So what are our 3 shots? Got 3 shots?
Ooh,
I have one.
good.
Good.
You go then.
This is jewelry related. This is
Okay.
in honor of Kitty. So I'm going to say that a lot of us get into this little bit of a rut and we wear the same things. We buy what we're comfortable with and we're just going to the office. We're just going to church. We're just going to the families. I think everybody needs to put on at least one more piece of jewelry. And if you're not wearing jewelry now, I know you've got jewelry. I know you've got it somewhere. You've got a jewelry box, you've got a necklace rack, you've got some rings. I want everybody to go look what you already have.
Yes.
And this week, every day this week, you put on at least one more piece of jewelry than you would normally wear.
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch Kitty and find out how 2 more pieces of jewelry just takes you up to even another notch, next level. That's my
great.
shot.
That's a very good shot. It reminds me of, because you know that my mantra is quite opposite of Coco Chanel.
Yes.
Yes. So Coco Chanel says, before you leave the house, go look in the mirror and take one piece of jewelry off. I say go look in the mirror and put one more piece of jewelry on and then hit the road.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep, I agree.
Sometimes you just want more.
Yeah.
It's okay. We are in our statement jewelry era, right?
And we all want more.
And we all want more. And what was that? We talked about it.
It's a progressive commercial.
Right.
Sometimes
that was a progressive commercial.
more.
But also, with each decade, we get
louder.
We're getting louder.
Dress louder. Yes.
Dress louder.
Yes.
Yes. That would include a lot of blingy jewelry. A lot more bling.
Yep.
Right?
Stace, you got a shot for us?
I got nothing. Again. I got nothing this time. I forgot about the shot, but I have my cranberry vodka today. What do you got? White wine?
I do. So I had some girlfriends over to my house last weekend, and they left a couple of glasses of wine in two bottles that are in my refrigerator, and I need to make space. So doing what I can.
We're glad that you could help us out by finishing those.
Yeah. True Minnesota style. Leave one glass in the bottle.
I had no idea. So sorry.
I know. If we'd have known that,
you would have worked harder for me?
We'd have worked harder. Yes.
Okay. All right. Next time.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Speaking of next time, I think we're out, aren't we?
Yep.
Everybody have a super good week.
Yes.
One more piece of jewelry. That's the deal.
One more.
It is.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right. Woo. Look. I got that wow. Who wants some hands up right now? We got that. Turn it up loud. I know you're wondering how. I got that wow. Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop. I'm a tour de force running. Get me to the top. I don't need an invitation. I'm about to start a celebration. Let me in. Brought a good time plus some friends. Turn it up loud past 10. Turning up the crowd when I hit 'em.